Today I'm watching and breaking down the cinematic language of Genshin Impact Teyvat Chapter Interlude Teaser, The Gods' Limits. This one sounds intense. We love Genshin. It's been a minute since we've been able to dive into one, so I'm really excited. If you enjoy our time together, check out my full catalog of Genshin Impact cinematic breakdowns. Alright, let's begin. Look at this beautiful painterly style. Looks like thick oils on canvas. It's amazing. Wow. I really like what I'm seeing here.
This world has always been so.
She looks familiar.
Life abides no reason, for none are born by their own consent.
Wow, that's a great line.
Death abides no reason, for it cannot be defied, even by those who see it coming.
So I love this because it's got a grandiosity, almost an operatic feel to the orchestration. And as always, Genshin has live recorded music, a lot of care put into the music. And I love that it's opening a storybook and we're learning for the viewer about the gods and we're being able to see life. And you see this one god here at the beginning, and then people aren't born by their consent, nor do they die by their consent. And I like it's a really cool detail that the sort of reality in this case has this very, very painterly style. You can see the individual brush strokes of the animation, which took a long time, no doubt, to do. But then the storybook that she's reading has something a little bit more akin to those kind of mini cutscenes we would get in Genshin Impact. So it's really interesting. I want to hear the rest of this orchestration.
It cannot be defied, even by those who see it coming. Time abides no reason.
Another god.
For it deprives us all equally, yet brooks not a second to be reclaimed. Space abides no reason.
So 4 gods: time, space, life, and death. Very, very cool. This looks like the character in the beginning of the game, and I recognize this patterning on her arm right here. This is the character that the twins were fighting in the opening of Genshin Impact when I played it the day it came out. I was like, I've never seen this character again. Again, I'm not caught up on the game, but I'm like, is this that character? So now I'm really interested.
Abides no reason.
That shifting geometry on her arm. I love this. As the music is, it's almost like it's got this feeling like this person that's reading has discovered some forbidden text that should not be knowing this. It's kind of that ancient, cosmic horror, H.P. Lovecraft feeling of like you're seeing something, you're reading something that you shouldn't be. It's a knowledge that shouldn't be known. And this character is, like the world itself is rising up against her. She's trying to read this stuff. It's like, no, you shouldn't know that. So this is fantastic. And even if you pay attention, the music is starting to become sort of unhinged. The piano is ramping up as the wind does. Just great attention to detail. Great piano. What?
The ruler of space stopped the golden-haired twin travelers and mercilessly tore them apart.
Yes, it is her. It's the ruler of space that did that? Did she just strike her down? Or is she her? She was disintegrated. What? Is that her?
The beer... No. This looks more like Rhine-daughter's doing.
What?
Please don't litter other people's spaces with your bizarre creations.
They just nuked all the people there, by the way. This sets the tone. And that was a fantastic segment. I really like how we transitioned, again, if you notice, from this painterly style, which is very kind of cozy and soothing and warm. With those individual brush strokes, of course, it feels traditional, feels naturalistic. And then we kind of just burn away not only the character, not only all the people around, and this whole tree was destroyed. Again, it's nature. This kind of life was destroyed by this red light, which is really cool because if you look back, this is a sort of coloration that they chose for the god of death. So I'm like to say that this is actually the god of death, how appropriately upon their arrival, just spread death all over the place, killed a bunch of people. Wow. But I think we're going to be able to use this coloration to kind of experiment or to kind of figure out what's happening here. But if you notice too, this is the last sort of art style that looks a little bit more painterly destroyed by this. And I think it is the god of death in this case. What an entrance. Again, sort of setting the tone and the mood for not only the scene, but the world of Genshin Impact. It's making me wonder if this is going to be maybe the final boss, so to speak. Wow. And I love that the music went from this kind of very beautiful, very orchestra feeling to just this kind of lamentation. The single feminine voice and the feminine figure of the god of death. Wow. Terrifying. The eyes too. Always watching, right? Always watching. Like I said, he's reading this forbidden book. So one of two things happened here. That old woman was the god of death. Was kind of, you know, enshrouded in her body, encased in her body or something, and has now been freed. Or this person just came down and destroyed everybody.
The beer... No. This looks more like Rhine-daughter's doing.
And again, this is super interesting because I say this every Genshin video when we get the cool pupils of different styles, which become sort of a benchmark of their art. By the way, I love that it's hand-drawn now and not in engine. But this style is something that pops up on the characters that tend to have sort of godly powers, sort of divine powers, very powerful. So it's kind of cool that if you look at the gods themselves, it's where it came from, that pupil style. So maybe I'm finally getting my answers. I ask this every video. What is the significance of the pupils? So anyways, it's very exciting.
Please don't litter other people's spaces with your bizarre creations.
Bizarre creations. She's picking up the people's souls who just got disintegrated. Wow. This sets the mood for the gods toying with the mortals. Wow.
Unsurprisingly, all life here has been rendered unstable.
Right, so this is the goddess of life. If we go with the color, I think the goddess of life, if we go with the color coordination in the beginning, and she has two different symbols in her eyes. Is it a clock? Is it a DNA strand? Very interesting.
Did by the ruler of space. I have seen enough to know that repeating this experiment would be fruitless.
Wow.
You seem to wield my power as if it were nothing but a plaything for your amusement. Although merging with you has stripped me of agency, I shall still continue to voice my disapproval.
Wow.
My dear Rhine-daughter, you have my respect, Nibirius.
So that's really cool that the other character said, Nibirius, no. Rhine-daughter. This is more her purview, which is super interesting. Right? It's super interesting because it's like there's two consciousness.
One of the only things that can get under my skin.
Literally. So wait. Is this something that has transpired in the story, or is this more a reveal of what's going on here? Because I'm not familiar with these names. I really like her design.
And you, Istaroth? Why did you bestow history upon them?
What was her name?
Istaroth?
Istaroth.
Why did you bestow history upon them?
I had to find some way to pass the time, did I not? After all, it's clear that Asmodee is not here.
Well, perhaps you could share your input a little earlier.
That's chills, man. The god of times and had to find some way to pass the time. Whoa.
Next time.
Amazing.
But you're right. There's no trace of Asmodee here. Where has she gone? Anyway, it's time I put this space out of its misery.
What does that mean? This is just a nothing. Whoa. Very nicely animated. I like the gold. That's cool. Nice detail. Shadow's different? What's going on here?
These meetings are just a formality.
Oh.
Does it really matter that only 3 of us are here?
This is time.
I, for one, think that we should find her.
So who's missing? Space.
Since the heavenly principles cast us as shades, not one of us has ever missed a meeting.
Heavenly principles cast us as shades. Does that mean what was going on with the old woman? Super interesting. I've heard the heavenly principles referred to during the Farina arc. I remember covering those videos and breaking them down. Very interesting. I might need the lore masters here, for the Genshin lore masters in the chat, to fill me in a little bit. There's a tremendous amount of lore here going on.
What if she just switched sides? Finding her would do more harm than good.
That's space.
Now there's an interesting idea.
Who's everybody's favorite Gauze design? I think I like Death the most right now.
Better than being devoured.
Just switched sides? You make it sound like such a trivial affair. We are shades, shadows of the heavenly principles.
Oh.
It's unthinkable.
There it is.
Unless she loves her new master more than her own self.
Oh no. I love the music. Again, going to this kind of singular feminine voice as opposed to this grand orchestration in the beginning is really fantastic. Kind of stripping it away to the most simplistic, in this case, these heavenly principles personified.
Nova, do you know that you're being watched?
Nova.
By whom? Whose gaze could pierce this far?
I love that. Like, by whom? Who's going to watch me? She literally has eyes all over herself. It's like, I'm the one who watches. I think that's a really, really awesome design detail. Don't tell me space. Was that Capitano?
I remember those eyes. It was just before I placed the curse of immortality.
Wow, what a look. Fantastically animated. And so he is by no means what he seems, right? Only what he seems. He's able to watch the heavenly principles from where he stands. Wow. I remember I covered a fight scene with him, and I believe it's the same character, him and what is her name? Motorcycle Girl. It was awesome. My fiance cosplayed her. What is her name? I can't remember, but she was awesome. Is she gonna strike him down? How could he possibly stand against death? The music. Fantastic.
Ah, yes. He's an old
A
acquaintance.
little bit of dissonance there in the harp and piano. That was lovely. And oh yeah, he's an old acquaintance. It's great.
Of mine. I'm sure that working for the Tsaritsa has helped him let go of his past obsessions.
Tsaritsa. Is it the
The
Fatsui?
Cryo Archon. With her paltry powers, she dares set her gaze on the heavenly principles.
How cool is that? Archons, their paltry powers. The Archons are the strongest people we know in the game, or at least the closest to the strongest people we've seen in Genshin, right? From where I stand. I mean, I'm not caught up, but what? This is amazing. I love this pulling the veil back. And it's like we're finally getting to see the sort of layers and the sort of institutions of power in this universe. Okay, we got these guys, we got the Fatui, we got them, we got the Archons who are up here, and then it's like, oh, no. It goes very high. You just don't know about it.
The heavenly principles have yet to awaken. If I were her,
They
I
are.
wouldn't pass on that opportunity either.
A good video, guys. It's very
My
good.
dear Rhine daughter, you know I cannot allow you to think that way.
This is the original consciousness. Another detail I think is fantastic is that shot right there. Is it a good shot? Yes. But what works is this pregnant pause, or this sort of pacing. It's lackadaisical. They're the gods, man. They're not in a rush. They're immortals. They're just, they can take time to think. You know, it's the mortals. Oh, we got to do this. We got to do that. No, they're just chilling. It's fantastic. Right?
It was purely hypothetical, Nibirius.
For lack of a direct order, I say it's time we intervened. Of course, to the extent permitted by the rules.
The rules. So the gods do have rules. I was hoping this was covered. So this seems to be a sort of facsimile or some sort of relation to Greek mythology as well. Greek religion, of course, we have the Olympians, the gods. But if you read, for example, the Iliad, it's a very Iliadic principle that there's a scene where Sarpedon, one of my favorite characters in just the Greek canon, is going to fight Patroclus. And Sarpedon versus Patroclus is a significant battle because the result of this battle results in everything, just a complete whirlwind of revenge and death, the cycle of death that goes on for several battles all the way up into Achilles' death and beyond. But in this case, I love it because in the Iliad and here, there are rules that even the gods can't break. In this very scene in the Iliad, Sarpedon is Zeus's son. This is the father of the god. This is the most powerful god in existence at this point, who overtook the Titans, right? He's incredibly powerful. And he says, he's like, fate has it. He's lamenting to his wife, Hera. Fate has it that Sarpedon, who I love more than life itself, is to die at the hands of Patroclus. And it's like, he's essentially God. Couldn't he just stop that from happening? Like, what? No. The fates, the woven thread of fate is actually governing sort of reality even for the gods. And it's like the gods kind of hint that he could do that. He could save Sarpedon, but then there'd be just consequences all over the place. All the other gods would start saving their sons and daughters, and it would be a disaster. Like fate would be all messed up. So it's super interesting. And I love that they seem to have that sort of similar vibe here, where it's like, we'll see how we can act within the rules. Death itself has rules? I mean, I guess it makes sense, right? But it's such a cool concept. Otherwise, our character couldn't possibly do anything, right? So I think that's super cool. There's limitations for them, and he's just watching.
The gaze of the gods has always been considered a blessing.
Not to you, apparently.
Hence the origin and meaning of visions.
Vision. Oh, okay.
People have always yearned for
Big
the
lore.
gaze of the gods. And yet,
Ever marching on,
it
different
is
locations.
said that when mortals look directly upon the gods, they invite their wrath and retribution.
Wow.
And what of it?
What of it?
Lives will be lost. A nation brought to ruins.
This is great.
So be it. It is nothing I have not endured before. I already know the price of gazing upon the gods. So tell me, what is the price of killing a god? The god stays silent, as if the thought had never once crossed his mind. To all those who dare not look up to the heavens, Her Majesty the Tsaritsa says this. Behold. Even the gods have their limits.
Wow. Right? That's the exact idea I was just talking about. And he's like, I've tested it. I've tested those waters. And I'll tell you, they got limits, baby. What a cool character. Oh, it's not over. Okay. I was going to talk a little bit. Amazing, right? I really like this. This is the Fatsui?
Inspection over. Return to your posts.
Make sure the Frostmoon Scions don't pose a threat.
Okay.
Per the Pale Star Edict, we are to retrieve the damselette from Nod Cry, whatever it takes.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, is this the goddess of space? But I don't think it is. Doesn't look like her. But there's a lot of stuff going on here. It's a fantastic video. I think the idea I spoke of there is really significant. But if we go back to the beginning, this is, of course, talking about the goddess of space.
Tore them apart.
Tore apart the twins. This is our characters, right? Ether and Lumina, right? So if we go here and count through the gods, we see, of course, this person was present, as far as I understand. She was definitely present with the red and black. Time, absolutely present. And then her. They said she's missing or she's gone. And this gentleman's talking about what's the price of killing one. Did he destroy her? Is that what's going on here? And if so, how? Because I have a lot of questions. And if this is covered in another video, please, in the comments, feel free to tell me about it, link me, let me know the title. because I'm super curious if this was covered or if this is like the big lore drop right here. Again, the Genshin is a long thing now. It's hard to be caught up unless you played every single thing and every single event that's come out, even the temporary ones that go away. But I love this video. It's fantastically done. I love the mix of style. I love how we go from storybook to painted here in the beginning, all the way up to this just full-blown anime, which is interesting. I'm sure this has not escaped anyone too who's watching and is a fan. A lot of us be thinking about the Genshin Impact anime. Wasn't that going to be a thing? What happened to Genshin Impact anime? Did it just, is it like the Final Fantasy 9 anime? Did it just go away? Did it disappear? But yes, very interesting stuff. I am super excited to see if there's more in this. But this has to be one of the longest videos Genshin has ever produced and put out. It's also hand drawn almost entirely, even though it's a different style. Yeah, it needs to be hand drawn throughout. This is a lot of work. I know it's 9 minutes and anime episodes are 23, but there's a reason those seasons take so long to come out, guys. I thought it was lovely. I love the peeling back the layers. I think it's my favorite part. And this intro, I think just the sort of use of style and music, and then look at that, the hands torn apart. Amazing. And it's her. That's the crazy thing. I love this transition. Yeah, that's an amazing transition. Right when the voice comes out and you just see death, the eyes and everything. Oh boy. And I love how, like I instantly caught the eyes in the design and sort of her wings, so to speak, this sort of crest. And then it turns out that, what's his name? Is it Capitano? He's watching, and it's like, I know what it means. No one can watch me. It's such a cool concept because she is the one who watches and takes life away. But anyways, I thought it was fantastic. That was the highlight for me. I want to see that part one more time. Just this little part where she kind of like addresses him or strikes him down. It was weird. Like we're being watched. It's the one part I want to see.
Do you know that you're being watched? By whom? Whose gaze could pierce this far?
So she didn't know. That's very significant that she didn't know she was being watched. Took another god catching it. Jeez. Guy's got eyes.
I remember those eyes. It was just before I placed the curse of immortality.
The curse of immortality. So that says a lot right there. Cool. There's a connection between them. That's what that means. I didn't know that they used to be human. And then she attacks him. Or just closes herself.
Ah, yes. He's an old acquaintance of mine. I'm sure that working for the Tsaritsa has helped him let go of his past obsessions.
Amazing. So he's someone who always tries to look
Archon.
to the heavens.
With her paltry powers, she dares set her gaze on the heavenly principles.
Amazing. So yeah, I know that part. Those couple of lines are extremely significant. If anyone wants to give me a little bit of a hint on what's going on there beyond what I was able to catch and observe, amazing. I really, really like that. That's probably the standout for me. And the beginning, the arrival of and Death. And I think I've pinned them as the right people as Death, and then Space is because she has the geometry on her arm that's like shifting. Seems to not be present. But anyways, that was so much fun. Thanks for joining me. Make sure to subscribe if you're new, if you want to see my other stuff. But most importantly, if you enjoyed this, click that Genshin playlist. Watch another. We got a ton of videos that span years worth of this game. So check it out and say hi in the comments. Check out my couples channel with my fiance, Aaliyah. And I'll talk to you guys very soon. Thanks for being here.